Children are fatty eaters or picky eaters. They are very choosy. What to eat, what not to eat. They know everything, and they only adopt what their taste buds are saying. And if a plate is filled with the sabji as well as the dal, they prefer more of dal because they know in the sabji or in the vegetables they are having the tomato peels or any other things that they don't want to eat. Even the jeera or the rai, mustard seeds, they remove them and they just only take the soup of it. So they are very choosy. They remove all the fibers also, because the children, their habit of taking the food is like the liquid and then the semi liquid, then semi solid and solid. And in the taste also, they started taking the madhura rasa ahar and then again the amla rasa and lavan rasa ahar. If the taste is good, they will eat complete food, complete plate. Otherwise, they just leave it. So what the parents do is, to make them complete that food, they offer the food which is not good for the health. Like one meal or one bolus, they give the chapati with the food, chapati and dal, and the other bolus they offer a chocolate bite. So parents think that along with this, at least they are taking the food, but this is not a right way of giving. Again, this samashana will occurs in it. And sometimes the children says, even though they are hungry, but they are in a mood to play, and they are playing with good friends. At that time, if a parent calls them to have a food, then they say, I don't eat now because I'm not hungry. So one has to think, actually they are not hungry or they are just pretending. And most of the times the children, smaller children, they hold the food in their mouth itself. They don't swallow it, because they know that once they swallow it, again the next bolus the mother will give offer. So they are very smarter. So we have to think ki, whether they are pretending these activities or really they are doing. And then, and if forcefully if the mother offers the food, then what happens again? After 3 or 4 continuous forcefully giving the bolus, the child will vomit. Then whatever the food they have taken earlier, that also gets emptied. Gastric empty occurs. So one should not give forcefully. And children, if they don't like the taste, or if they are not hungry, they show their activity by crying or shouting or screaming. At that time, one should not offer the food. And these are the tricks that has to be carried out while dealing with the children's. Next, diversified diets. As in the Ayurveda, there are 6 stages, that is Madhura, Amla, Lavana, Katu, Tikta, Kashaya Ras. But usually in children, it is like first Madhura Rasa Ahar to be preferred, and then followed by the Amla Rasa Ahar. Then that whatever the Ahar, that has to be, Lavan Yukta. It should be Lavan Yukt in in most of the foods. And if the sweets are offering, means only the Madhura Yukta Ahar to be given. So balanced diet means it is a full of the carb. It is with the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, essential vitamins, essential minerals, essential amino acids, and all comes together a balanced diet. So in the food also, all types of rasa should be given or offered to the child, with the combinations with more of madhura and amla in taste. So that what happens, this shadrasa yukta ahar will preserve the treasure of the gut microbiome, and digestion also occurs properly, as well as the uh, assimilation also will be good when the microbial diversity is present in the gut. And then with this, the proper or optimal growth and development also occurs in the child. Most of the times, children eat only specific foods, and just like for example, the potato, if the child is eating all the days potato, means whatever the calories which are calories or the essential elements which are present in the potato only is getting into the body, children's body, and they are deficient of the calories or the essential elements which are not present in that potato. That is the reason why from the childhood onwards, the parent has to offer all varieties of locally available foods. Next, wholesome versus unwholesome food. This is just like I told you previously, eating only specific foods should be discouraged right from the childhood. And then eka rasabhyaso daurbalya karanam. Definitely, if we are taking only one particular rasa, then devoid of the other rasas, then the proper growth and development does not occurs. Who are vulnerable group for this nutritional disorders? So the one is rural children, and also urban with poor children. So low socio-economic status children in villages as well as in the cities. And then children whose care is under maids. In the cities, usually both the parents are working, so they kept their child under the supervision of the maid. And that maid, usually what they do is, they don't try to give proper appropriate amount of food to that child. Instead, they offer 2 or 3 times, and if the child doesn't eat, then they don't force. And if they force also, the child gets vomit because they scream them or they shout at children. So because of fear, they doesn't eat. So they become more vulnerable for the nutritional disorders. And then children staying at daycare centers, and poor socioeconomic children with big family size, and differently abled children like cerebral palsy or with mental retardation or epileptic child may have associated nutritional disorders. And some diseases like celiac disease, cystic fibrosis are also are more prone to nutritional disorders. Next. So outcome of nutritional errors leading to these common nutritional problems. Uh, that is irreversible stunting. If the long-term inadequate supply of food is there, then it results in irreversible stunting. Then failure to thrive, marasmus, underweight, refusal of foods, allergies and food intolerances, then iron deficiency anemias and vitamin deficiencies, then electrolyte imbalances, risk of chronic diseases, that is the early childhood onset diseases which is leading to fetal adult chronic diseases, and then poor chronic cognitive development, childhood obesities, inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, tooth decay, and the list is more. That all is a result of this nutrition, improper nutrition. As Acharya Kashyapa said, ahara mahabhaishajyam. If proper ahara is not given, that may leads to many and many nutritional problems. Sometimes they can be reversible, but sometimes it may be irreversible if not treated in proper time. Then coming to malnutrition and micronutrient malnutrition. See, medium malnutrition occurs. It may leads to wasting and stunting. And if the severity is more, then it may, you know, uh, leads to underweight as well as the under height also. Then iron deficiency anemia occurs, all the vitamin deficiencies, especially the vitamin A, zinc, and selenium. And then it may be delay in balance and coordination of motor movements. So their physical growth may hamper, as well as the coordination, as well as the motor uh, development may hamper, and even the insignificant growth in communication skills, as well as the language development and speech development occurs, and the fluency disorders may arise, and this may become a bad start for education, primary education. Next, worms affecting the nutrition. So highest intensity of infection is seen in preschool children because of inadequate sanitation and because of inadequate access to safe water and food. They play more on the outside where the hygiene is not maintained properly at that particular age, so high intensity of infections may occur. And by feeding on the contents of the host gut tissues, maldigestion, malabsorption, and inflammatory disorders may occur. And here for this, especially the deworming is a very safest and easy and cheap. So in all the government schools, these tablets have been supplying, and the government is taking a very care. And apart from that, Krimihara Aushadhi, Ahara Rupa Aushadhi can also be given, so which are having a wonderful results for long term or for recurrent worm infestations. As well as worms aggravate malnutrition. As we all know, it aggravates anemia and stunting levels and retardation, both physical as well as cognitive development. Next, nutrition and disability, if we say, they are intimately related. Both are global development priorities. Disabilities like cerebral palsy, if we see, because of the drooling of saliva as well as this poor oro um, muscles, the food is not properly holded by the child, so the feeding difficulties are there. And in children with autism spectrum disorders, the complex reaction to particular kind of food and particular kind of texture and colors. So so we have to identify these kind of textures and colors to which the child is not uh, easy to take. So one has to identify those foods. And the child with a Down syndrome, they prefer mostly the smooth foods without any rough edge. So this has to be identified, and the education and training is to be given to how to deal with the children with the disables. Next, so role of an Ayurvedic pediatric dietitian is to advise what diet is good or what kind of food is good and what kind of food is not good for that particular child. This is all to provide proper therapeutic foods. So the role is this Ayurvedic pediatrician can prevent the nutritional disorders. If as per the age, what foods to be given, the diet plan has been given to the parents, or the health education is related to this diet, if it has been given, and regular health checkups as a preventive basis, if we do, then definitely most of the nutritional disorders can be prevented. And then managing the food allergies. As we know the concept of the food allergies, how one food has an incompatibility with the other foods and develops something, disturbs the immune system of the child, and it results either the in the form of either vomitings or in the motions or the skin eruptions or breathlessness. So we have to identify that kind of foods and stop giving those foods to the child, and then treating the diagnosed nutrient deficiencies. Say if vitamin A deficiency is there, that has to be treated, and we have to find out what are the deficiencies occurring in the child that has to be fulfilled with these therapeutic foods. And then managing the fatty eating, managing the underweight as well as overweight issues, and appropriate prescribing of the ready to use therapeutic foods and supplementary foods, and giving equal importance of these foods with respect to the medicines will definitely helps in preventing and promoting and curing of these nutritional disorders. Next. So ready to use therapeutic foods, they are the remedy recommended by UNICEF for the community based treatment of severe acute malnutrition, is an energy dense paste consisting of milk powder, vegetable oil, sugar, peanut butter, and powdered vitamins and minerals used in therapeutic feeding. And the Government of India, in a major change in its nutritional policy, has decided in November 2007 that states are free to take a call on providing ready to use therapeutic food to children suffering from severe acute malnutrition. So, this is uh, what the ready to use therapeutic foods are. So, Ayurvedic ready to use therapeutic foods can be modified, keeping in the view that food should not be a fixed food. That Ayurvedic foods are in a range with a combinations of oils, different kinds of oils, ghee, and different uh, powders which are of Madhura Rasa Ahar, Madhura Rasa Aushadhis like Shatavari, Ashwagandha, and then few Balyakara Aushadhis like Bala, Jeevaniya Gana, Vidaryadi Gana. So all these powders can be mixed and made a kind of either the paste or a laddu or any kind of food, and it has to be offered to the child. But one has to think that whatever the foods are offering to the child, that should be of easily palatable, easily acceptable form. So scope of Ayurvedic ready to use therapeutic food is it can be planned for same this moderate acute malnutrition as well as severe acute malnutrition, and these therapeutic foods can be given along with the supplementary foods. So we can uh, you know uh, prepare these from the nutritious, safe, and locally available herbs, and we can prepare in the form of laddus, dry soups, hot infusions, lozenges, jellies, foods, pakodis, etc. Next. So Ayurvedic ready-to-use therapeutic foods and supplementary foods should possess a properties like mrudu, they should be a soft, madhura, more of Madura in nature. Madura Surabhi Shita Shakkara. To enhance the taste of the preparations, various preparations, and to help in the digestion of that, one can add this Pala Panchamrit, which is a mixture of Hingu, Shunti, Kana, Patya, and Mishi. So reference is Rasratna Samuchay. These can be added to the foods as and when required to enhance the bioavailability of the therapeutic and supplementary foods. The advantages of these foods are they improve the food standard and quality, and they helps in optimum growth and development. They acts as antioxidants and prevent recurrent infections, definitely. And then preventing and managing diet related to non-communicable diseases also. So if we prepare and give these foods in the early age, we can prevent the adult onset of diseases as well as non-communicable diseases. Next. So we can prepare plant milk just like the other milks in the market are they are offering. So we can prepare like that. Rice milk, soy milk, coconut milk, almond milks are there. So we can prepare the therapeutic milks as well as supplementary milks. Next. So hot infusions like just like tea bags, uh, we can fill this kind of packs with Eshtimadu, etc. herbs and can be given as an hot infusion. And one can also prepare antioxidant tea bags with tulsi, guduchi, etc. And then Deepan Pachan tea bags can also be made with ginger, tejapatra, panchakola, etc. herbs as and when required according to the condition. Then one can prepare this Srikhand. This this is tasty and also easily the children can uh, because of good palatability the children can easily take. And depend on the clinical condition, specific rotis can be made. For example, the whole wheat mixed with pipli, so whole wheat pipli roti, whole wheat ashwagandha roti, or bala ashwagandha and whole wheat roti. So this can be planned accordingly, and cow's ghee can be applied and can be offered to the child, or even with the honey also it can be given. Next. Next, lollipops can be prepared by this chawanprash. Chawanprash can be attached to this Eshtimadu sticks and can be offered to get an attraction from the children. And lozenges can also be given. They can be prepared to enhance the immunity and to supplement the vitamins and minerals. Some laddus or modakas can also be prepared with the vidanga, til and jaggery. That tasty, and 25 to 30 grams of these laddus can be made and offered to the child as per the age and weight, once or twice a day. Next. And malnutrition laddus can also be prepared. So this can be prepared with any one or two Balya Brahmana Aushadis along with the base, either the any flour like gram flour or the whole wheat powder mixed with the dates, nuts, coconut powder and all. And to enhance the bioavailability, one can add Chausashti pipli or small amount of shunti. This can be prepared into laddu and can be offered to the child. And to enhance the cognitive development also, one can give mini doses, attractive packages or single dose packing of different kinds of avleh. by adding different flavors. One can give this kind of single dose packing avle forms, any avle, Chyawanprash avle or Agastya Rasayan or anything. Next, buttermilk as an appetizer. It can be mixed with Lavan Bhaskar churn and can be offered to the children, those who are having loss of appetite or not taking proper meal. So for them, this can be offered. Next, probiotic yogurt can be made. So, or for children with diarrhea, the curd is prepared with a small amount of milk is cooked with the musta, and that milk can be, made to convert into this yogurt, and this can be offered. And next, nourishing cookies and ashwagandha cookies or any other cookies can be made in this form and can be offered to the children. Soups, different kinds of soups can be prepared as per the condition of the child. Acharya Kashyapa has given an exclusive chapter on these soups, Yusha Nirdeshi Adhyay, where there are a lot of yushas have been described there. And Mugdha Yusha, Yusha prepared from green gram, and then Dadima Yusha, Mulaka Yusha, and ready to use soup packets can also be made. They just has to be poured in the hot water, mixed it, and can be offered to the children as per the requirement. And then we all know that the Shigrudala, the moringa, is a high in rich in vitamin C and many minerals and many vitamins. It is rich in that. So this can be widely used in any form and is offered to the child as a form of therapeutic food as well as in the form of supplementary foods. So in this picture you can see uh, we can give we can prepare the dal or can prepare the laddus or the pakodas also can be offered. And oral rehydration solution can also be prepared with the Shadanga Paniya mixed with the Saindav Lavan as well as Mishri. And one can also, can add some other medicines to this solution for easy palatability. Madhu can also be added in this. Next, instead of giving these toffees, one can offer these chickies. They are healthy also, and they don't damage the teeth of the babies. Next, Chyawanprash cookies can be made. This can like Kesar Badam Chyawanprash with gold, Mukta Yukta Chyawanprash. There are a lot of Chyawanprash added flavors and added properties which help the child physical as well as psychological development and cognitive development also. Next, prevention. So we can prevent these nutritional disorders by right from improving the maternal nutrition. So if mother has taking proper and adequate amount of the Shadrasa Yukta Ahara, then that Aharas divides into 3 parts and 1 part of the Aharas continuously supplies to the fetus. So in the early formation of the fetus, if proper amount of nutrition is reaching the child, reaching the fetus, then definitely the good start will have a healthy future also. And then promoting the optimal infant and young child feeding. Up to the 6 months or more than 6 months, exclusively breastfeeding or maternal feeding is essential for the baby. And then afterwards, right time, the weaning should be started, and with right food, and the young child has to be given a good adequate amount of food very frequently. That starts that with a good health. So, and as the child grows, one has to start giving more and more homemade foods instead the readily available packed foods. And then it can also get prevented. This nutritional disorders can also get prevented if all the family members will eat together sitting at one time, because by seeing the others, the children will eat more and more, and they feel happy also. And if timely, if they are eating, and so we can prevent this nutritional disorders. And then stop eating the junk foods. Not only it should not this should not be restricted only for children, but the whole family has to stop eating these junk foods. And then regular nutritional status health checkup to be needed for prevention of the nutritional disorders. Next. So nutritional programs in India are, there are many ministries which are taking programs related to this nutrition. Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Social Welfare, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Education, and we hope that Ministry of Ayush also will take uh, act, actively participate in this national nutritional programs. Next, conclusion. So food and nutrition security at national, community and household levels through Ayurvedic ready-to-use therapeutic foods and ready-to-use supplementary foods should be adopted, and appropriate complementary feeding with Ayurvedic RUTF and RUSF to achieve the mission of India, that is Kuposhan Mukt Bharat. Then introducing these Ayurvedic RUTF and RUSFs in community nutritional programs and national nutritional programs in India, and then promoting effective nutritional education at door to uh, health education to be given at community level, and through through massive health education. So I hope uh, this lecture is useful for you. So in this lecture, we have covered about what are the nutritional errors, and what is the Nindita Ashana, and how many types of this Nindita Ashana are there, and for that each and every Nindita Ashana and its definition. And if the somebody is not following this Nindita Ashana properly, then what kind of nutritional disorders may occur, and how they can be treated or prevented through this Ayurvedic ready to use therapeutic foods as well as Ayurvedic ready to use supplementary foods. So I hope you have enjoyed this lecture. Thank you.